The man who couldn't walk properly, but he made millions stand up and dance. David Rudder was just 1 year old when his life changed forever. It's 1954 in Trinidad, and a terrible disease called polio is spreading fast through the island. Almost 200 people get sick, and little David is one of them. The disease attacks his tiny body and damages his left leg. From that moment on, David Rudder walks differently than other children. One leg doesn't work like it should. But here's what nobody knows yet. This little boy limping through the streets of Belmont will grow up to become the voice of an entire region. David Rudder is born on May 6, 1953, in Belmont, Port of Spain, Trinidad. His mom Elsie takes care of the home, while his dad Lionel works hard in the oil fields down south. David Rudder grows up in a big family with 8 brothers and sisters, so the house is always loud and full of life. His grandmother is a spiritual Baptist, and she baptizes David in her church. Then his mom baptizes him again as an Anglican. Then, when David Rudder starts school, they baptize him a 3rd time as a Catholic. 3 baptisms for one little boy. Maybe all that blessing gives him something special, because David Rudder is going to need every bit of strength for the journey ahead. Growing up, David Rudder lives near 2 places that will shape his entire life. One is a panyard where musicians create beautiful sounds from steel drums. The other is a shango yard where people practice African spiritual traditions with drums and chants. Music and rhythm surround David Rudder every single day, but David Rudder also loves something else. Art. David Rudder discovers painting and sculpture in school and falls in love with creating beautiful things with his hands. He becomes so good that he later works with a master craftsman named Ken Morris, who is famous for copperwork. So David Rudder isn't just a singer from the start. He's an artist who sees beauty everywhere. At just 9 years old, David Rudder enters his first singing competition. By age 11, David Rudder joins a group called The Solutions. While other kids are playing in the streets, David Rudder is practicing his voice and learning how to perform. He's preparing for something big, even though he doesn't know exactly what yet. But the road to success is long and hard. David Rudder is about to learn that talent alone isn't enough. You need patience and determination. For many long years, David Rudder sings backup vocals for other people. He stands behind the famous Lord Kitchener at Calypso shows, singing support while Kitchener gets all the attention. During the day, David Rudder wears a suit and works as an accountant for the Trinidad Bus Company. He sits at a desk adding up numbers. It's boring work, but it pays the bills. Every single day, David Rudder counts other people's money and dreams about music. Every single night he performs, giving his energy to make other singers sound good. This goes on for years. Some people might give up, but not David Rudder. He keeps writing his own songs at night. He keeps believing that his moment will come. Then, in 1977, something changes for David Rudder. A band called Charlie's Roots needs someone to fill in for their lead singer temporarily. David Rudder agrees to help out. But when people hear David Rudder sing, when they see the energy he brings, they don't want him to leave. David Rudder becomes the co-lead singer and stays with Charlie's Roots for 9 years. 9 long years of performing and writing songs and learning his craft. David Rudder is getting better and better, waiting for the right moment to explode onto the scene. That moment finally comes in 1986. David Rudder is 33 years old. He releases 2 songs that year that will change everything. The first song David Rudder writes is called The Hammer. It's a tribute to a steel pan player who passed away. But the second song is the one that really shakes things up. David Rudder calls it Bahia Girl, and it's completely different from anything people have heard before. Bahia Girl is a slow chip, a smooth groove that makes you want to sway your body. Most road march songs are fast, but David Rudder goes against what everyone expects. The song connects Trinidad to Brazil, talking about a girl from Bahia. When David Rudder's song plays during Carnival, thousands of people move as one in the streets. It's magic. It's everything David Rudder has been working toward. But wait, there's more. That same year, David Rudder does something nobody has ever done before. He wins every single major title at Trinidad's carnival. David Rudder becomes Young King, National Calypso Monarch, Road March King, and wins the Panorama competition. All 4. In 1 year. It's like winning 4 Olympic gold medals in one night. Overnight, David Rudder becomes a national hero. People stop him on the streets. Radio stations play his songs constantly. Newspapers compare David Rudder to Bob Marley in Jamaica and Bruce Springsteen in New Jersey. Journalists from around the world want to interview him. Rolling Stone magazine writes about David Rudder. In Japan, they even released David Rudder's greatest hits with the lyrics translated into Japanese. People who don't speak English love David Rudder's music so much they want to understand every word. For a boy who grew up with a damaged leg, who worked as an accountant, who sang backup for years, this is beyond anything he imagined. But David Rudder doesn't stop there. In 1987, he releases a song called Calypso Music that tells the entire history of Calypso in just a few minutes. David Rudder makes sure people remember where this music comes from. Then, in 1988, David Rudder puts out an album called Haiti that many people still say is his best work ever. The title song is about Haiti's glory and suffering. David Rudder honors a nation that was the first to successfully rebel against slavery. Another song on that album is Engine Room, which captures the incredible energy of a steel band. David Rudder is at the peak of his powers, creating one masterpiece after another. But the song from that Haiti album that becomes the most famous is Rally Round the West Indies. This is where David Rudder's story gets really interesting. West Indies cricket had been dominating the world for 10 years. But by 1987, things are starting to change. The team is struggling, and people in the Caribbean are complaining and criticizing their own players. David Rudder sees what's happening and he doesn't like it, so David Rudder writes Rally Round the West Indies as both a love letter to Caribbean cricket and a call for unity. David Rudder's song talks about how when things get tough, that's exactly when you need to stick together. He references heroes of the Haitian Revolution to remind Caribbean people of their strength and fighting spirit. David Rudder also calls out the cricket authorities who are making new rules to stop West Indies fast bowlers from dominating. David Rudder's Rally Round the West Indies becomes so beloved that in 1999, 12 years after its release, the West Indies Cricket Board officially adopts it as the team's anthem. Even today, when West Indies plays cricket anywhere in the world, you'll hear David Rudder's powerful voice booming through the speakers and fans, singing every word with tears in their eyes. That's the power of what David Rudder created. It's more than music, it's identity. It's pride. It's a reminder of who Caribbean people are. Throughout his career, David Rudder keeps breaking boundaries. In 1991, 4 of his songs appear in a movie called Wild Orchid. In 2008, David Rudder works with Michelle Montano on a track called Oil and Music. In 2011, David Rudder teams up with Alison Hinds for a song called Glow. David Rudder performs everywhere you can imagine: Caribbean islands, North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. More than 30 albums released over his career. Think about how much music that is. How many stories told through song. Governments and organizations recognize David Rudder's contributions. In 1992, Trinidad and Tobago gives him the Hummingbird Silver Medal. In 1996, the United Nations makes David Rudder a Goodwill Ambassador. In 2015, the University of the West Indies gives David Rudder an honorary doctorate degree. In 2018, he receives the keys to the city of Port of Spain. And in 2022, David Rudder is awarded the Order of the Caribbean Community, which is the highest honor the entire Caribbean can give. Not bad for a boy with a damaged leg who used to count money at the bus company. But here's where David Rudder's story takes another difficult turn. Remember how we started with that little boy who had polio? Well, David Rudder is now 71 years old, and that childhood disease still affects him today. The older David Rudder gets, the more he feels the effects. And then, in 2020, after losing his brother and close friends like drummer Barry Howard and musical director Wayne Bruno, David Rudder starts feeling strange. He's walking slower than before. When David Rudder tells jokes, his face stays blank even though he's trying to smile. Speaking becomes more difficult. David Rudder knows something is wrong, so he goes to get tested. The diagnosis comes back, and it's not what anyone wants to hear. David Rudder has Parkinson's disease. This is a brain disorder that affects movement. It can cause shaking, stiffness, and problems with balance. Over time, it makes walking and talking harder. In April 2023, David Rudder decides to tell the world about his condition. He holds a press conference and explains that Parkinson's disease is going to change how he performs. When you hear this news, it feels so unfair. David Rudder overcame polio as a baby. He worked for years before getting his big break. He gave the world so much beautiful music. Now he has to face another disease that attacks his body. But here's the thing about David Rudder. He doesn't give up. He doesn't complain. He doesn't ask for pity. Instead, David Rudder stands in front of reporters with tears in his eyes, but a smile on his face, and says, "Have no fear, I am not going to drop dead tomorrow." David Rudder explains that his concert to celebrate his 70th birthday will be his last big marathon show. He can't do 4 hours standing on stage anymore. His body won't allow it. But David Rudder promises he will keep making music, keep performing smaller shows, keep giving as much as he can for as long as he can. David Rudder lives in Canada now with his wife Christine Ming Rudder, and stays connected to his 3 sons. There's Kafra, Isaac, and his youngest son Noah, who just earned a Rhodes Scholarship in 2025 at age 21. That's one of the most prestigious academic awards in the world. David Rudder also has a daughter who loves his music. Family has always been important to David Rudder. While other musicians live the party lifestyle, David Rudder chose a different path. David Rudder didn't drink alcohol, he skipped the party scene. He wanted to be present for his family. David Rudder even did something really unusual. He brought his children on stage with him during performances. That choice made David Rudder stand out because people respected him not just for his talent but for his character. The support from his family since his Parkinson's diagnosis has been huge. They remind David Rudder to take his medication on time. They make sure he gets up and walks every day because exercise helps manage the disease. They give David Rudder the strength to keep going even on hard days. David Rudder says he's working on his life story now, writing down all the memories. He's also gone back to his paintings and copperwork, creating art with his hands. David Rudder wants to train young people and pass on his knowledge. He has new songs in his head that he wants to record. David Rudder still has so much to give. When you look at David Rudder's lifestyle over the years, you see someone who lived differently from what people expected. David Rudder was deeply spiritual. He read books constantly, always learning. David Rudder created visual art alongside his music. He used his real name instead of taking a stage name like most calypsonians. David Rudder saw himself as more of an artist than an entertainer. He cared about the deeper meaning of his work. His music was influenced by Shango rhythms and steel pan yards. David Rudder wrote every single one of his own songs, which was rare in calypso. The impact of David Rudder's career goes way beyond entertainment. His music helped Caribbean people feel proud of their identity. David Rudder's Rally Round the West Indies became more than a cricket anthem. It became a reminder that unity is strength. His song Haiti brought attention to a nation the world had forgotten. David Rudder's Bahia Girl connected Trinidad to Brazil and reminded everyone of their African roots. His calypso music preserved the history of an art form that started with enslaved Africans. Every song David Rudder wrote served a purpose beyond just making people dance. Looking at everything David Rudder has accomplished, you understand why people call him one of the greatest calypsonians of all time, from a little boy with a damaged leg to a global icon. From an accountant adding up numbers to a United Nations Goodwill Ambassador. From a backup singer hoping for his chance to a man whose anthem is sung by hundreds of thousands of cricket fans. David Rudder's journey shows us that your beginning doesn't determine your ending, that obstacles can become stepping stones, that staying true to yourself can be your greatest strength. The polio that damaged David Rudder's leg didn't stop him from commanding stages around the world. And now the Parkinson's won't stop David Rudder from creating for as long as he can. David Rudder once said that if he had to do it all over again, he would want the exact same journey. With all the struggles and setbacks, with 2 diseases attacking his body, David Rudder would still choose this life. Why? Because it's been a life filled with purpose and passion. David Rudder was doing what he loved. These days you might catch David Rudder at a smaller venue doing an intimate show. You won't see him doing those 4-hour marathon concerts anymore. But the energy is still there. David Rudder's voice that moved nations can still make you feel something deep. When he sings Rally Round the West Indies, grown men still get tears in their eyes. When Bahia Girl plays, people still remember where they were when they first heard it. That's the power of music created with soul. David Rudder's story teaches us about facing challenges. He could have let polio define him. David Rudder could have stayed as a backup singer afraid to step forward. He could have given up when he wasn't instantly famous. And now he could retreat after his Parkinson's diagnosis. But none of that is who David Rudder is. Instead, he keeps showing up. David Rudder keeps creating. He keeps giving. Even when his body makes it harder, David Rudder continues spreading culture and beauty through his art. That's not just a music career. That's a legacy. That's David Rudder showing everyone what courage looks like. So the next time you hear Rally Round the West Indies, remember David Rudder, the man who wrote it. When you hear calypso or soca music, remember that David Rudder paved the way. When you face obstacles and wonder if you can overcome them, remember David Rudder, that boy with the damaged leg who became the voice of the Caribbean. Remember David Rudder, the accountant who dared to dream bigger. Remember David Rudder, the backup singer who stepped into the spotlight and shined so bright the world paid attention. Remember David Rudder, the 71-year-old man fighting Parkinson's who still has songs in his head. That's David Michael Rudder. That's the man who turned pain into music that moves nations. And David Rudder's song is far from over. Discover more untold stories of Caribbean legends who changed the world.